Hello, welcome back. This is an odd, I know, different layout. This one's just a little easier for me to edit. And I only did this morning, so yeah, we've got 3 people here today. I've separated the Warlocks and put myself in between just for, for safety reasons. Cool. But yes, we're back. We're doing a mini session with Zamani's ever so graceful plan she came up with. So I gotta recenter you a little bit, Ref, because you're a little. Just didn't know how you lean.
I do lean a little bit from the side to side.
Yeah.
Not a leaning game.
Last we left off, literally 2 days ago. Great, I fucking love this extra D&D throughout the week. If you're not here, you are cringe. You are uncool because you're not a warlock.
I'm still cringe. What do you mean?
Yeah, you are.
Guys, I fully just stepped, so I'm still cringe. Please.
So, last we left off, the party all got sent to bed by the god of secrets, Xerxes. A conversation, which Zamani would not be privy to know the knowledge of, for her own safety for now, happened between Calicindir and Xerxes. The following morning, I have been very graciously sent a message by AJ to say he would like to upcast enhanceability on charisma for the both of you for the first hour of this journey. So thank you, AJ.
Shout out to AJ.
Shout out to AJ. He's a real one, for real, for real.
For real.
But as everyone begins to descend to their rooms, a beautiful night's rest, getting escorted out of Host's Inn, the God of Secrets asks the 2 of you to stay behind. As the various, you go over, there's a nice breakfast spread still out that he seems to be picking away at. He's got a morning mimosa.
Is there morning coffee?
There is coffee, but as you sit down, he kind of sits up, writes himself a little bit more serious demeanor. Well, now that the undesirables are gone.
Yeah.
We do have matters to discuss. So, burning questions, burning ears. I will be frank. Although my name is not. I'm Shard of the Dying God.
Right. I did suspect as much, considering the way you're speaking about it, but... Right.
I will not be giving it to you. Well, at least not easily. You see, there was a time once, probably before you were born. I do not know. Your complexion is good.
Thank you.
Humanity was at a war. The Jotuns, your people, did not intervene. But I assume you know of this.
Yes.
Humanity had a resistance. And the Wodes gave us something. A few somethings. A shard. A being of so much power, and only a shard of it was able to give us so much. But I do not need to explain that to you, as you are very well aware of its powers.
Of course.
What was given to us, though, by the Wode was the rituals and how to use it. And that is one thing I will not give you. So we do not need any more gods.
And I would have no intention of ever using that.
However, all of us used. I assume each shard of the Dying God represents a piece of their being. This one allowed prayer, the power of it, to embolden us, bring us powers beyond any mortal means. Then it got dangerous, because more and more people wanted it. More and more people thought that they deserved it or earned it through the fight. To stop a war, I stole it, and I stole the very knowledge of it. Unfortunately, we all used the same artifact to ascend. The same artifact that all links us in a way. and most importantly, for now anyway, has begun to give us shared visions. Whatever your being was before, this dying god, they fought something massive. A dragon of unknown prowess. The Void Dragon. Along with the Dawn Watcher and some other names that I do not really know. They broke us apart. But now we're getting visions of it coming back. Over on the other side of the world, which I should know, it is my home. The Horned Serpent has reconvened with a being known as the Jeweled Wings, consuming up to 2/3 of the Void Dragon. And we are getting visions of it coming here. Alas, I am at a loss for what to do. Every single being that we have convened here in the tavern with all wants to go about it their own way. The Zephyrin is trying to get power that rivals an old god. Samael is trying to build an army of undead. Gregi is trying to reunify the Jotuns. And none of them realize that we were at our strongest when we were all fighting one common enemy. Everyone is experiencing these visions, from saint to god. I do not know if the old gods here still do. They are, so Jen, the Horned Serpent and the Jeweled Wings are two-thirds of it. They've reconvened together. To answer your question there. So the Void Dragon would be if all three pieces were together again.
You said 2/3 of it have rejoined together. Do you
Correct.
have any visions or ideas about the last third?
That's the problem. We see that the barrier that keeps us separate is breaking down and is destined to fall. And now coined his own name, the Dragon King is on his way. This is why I suspect Samael's plans are truly in motive. Silelia was trying to burn everything to start again, to have enough burnt sacrifice to combat this thing. Every single, and excuse the language, fucking god right now is trying to be the savior of humanity, but we never excelled when there was one savior of humanity. This is what scares me. So I don't know you, but I know you are trying to bring back this dying god. And if that's one more person to fight this Dragon King, someone that helped break it apart the first time, so be it. But I won't just give you the shard. I won't just give you the artifact of ascension. I don't, frankly, trust you that well yet. You are a friend of a friend. And as much as I know you probably hate this, I'll be watching. But
I assumed as much.
I need to see your strength of character.
Of course.
But if she trusts you for now, that's enough to get the, how would you say, the ball rolling.
First of all, thank you, Saxes, for your, well, as you put it, your frankness and your honesty dealing with this matter. I will try to be worthy of your respect and, I suppose, capabilities to be a decent enough person to hold the shard in your eyes.
What if it doesn't even come down to decency? It just comes down to capability.
Of course. But at the same time, you wouldn't want it to put it in the hands of someone who would potentially be corrupted and exploited by it. Or rather, exploit it.
There is one small, maybe medium-sized problem, perhaps?
What's that?
It depends on how you frame it. If any of the Ascended Gods figure out you have the artifact, or figure out that even a shard of the Dying God, well, I don't know if the other ones would work, but, well, they try and kill you. You know.
Alright. Another target on the back.
Does this include Brain named Burr, but the guy at the Eye of Ruin? Or are we just
No, he's saying Ascended Gods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a way to hide its presence?
Well, I've stolen the knowledge of what it is, so right now you're the only two mortals in existence who know that the artifact of Ascension is in fact a shard of the Dying God.
So whatever we do not tell Mercastia.
Yes.
That would be what we would probably elevate it to a medium issue.
Considering her current proximity to the Zephykin, I imagine that any of that information that passes onto her would pass through into him. I'm assuming you are aware of what's occurred with Zephykin recently, which
I have received notes.
I was
many notes, Callus, in here.
Right.
As he just gives a very obvious stage wink to Zamani.
Right.
Speaking of the shards, I don't know if this is something that you've thought of, but I've been thinking a lot recently, given everything that's happened, as we're trying to hope and move on and do things. I think that there might also be an artifact with the Eye of Ruin.
With the Eye of Ruin? What makes you think that?
Well, he does have followers. He has very strong followers, and people potentially... He's the only old god accessible, so if anyone were to find a shard or a highly magical thing that drives people crazy with this thing called Godblight, it would make sense that it would end up there. And depending on how much the people know, it would also make sense to bring it to him because they're brothers.
Uncle, I think.
Uncle, sorry, related.
Uncle.
Related. Well, it's all a bit of a mess.
I don't think they ever met, if what the Dawn Watcher told me is right.
No, but it doesn't matter if they met. What matters is the people's perceptions.
Of course. I think that there is a possibility of that. I guess I hadn't considered it, considering how isolated the Eye of Ruin has been, but it is potential that one of his followers, perhaps.
Yeah. That being said, strong point here. Inish Hale was fairly fucking isolated.
That's true.
I mean...
That's true.
It's a start.
It is a start.
I don't know.
I believe from your knowledge that I've been told, you know where 3, now 4 are, and you have 1.
I know there was the one in Mount Ondai. Obviously, in Zephykin Bay, there's another one.
You have one.
And the last one, I have one.
And I have one.
And you have one.
So that possibly means we know where 5, if your guess is correct, which if it is, I owe you a drink. So there's 2 left unaccounted for.
Yes.
So,
any
bright guesses of where they would be? That could be, something, perhaps a very, some may say ostentatious, others would say aristocratic and beautiful. Ascended deity could perhaps look into.
Most of myself was concerned that there is one of the leading theories of the Inquisition that have always been strongly pushed for is that there is shards in the world below itself. I have not learnt of any, however, I strongly believe that there may be at least one somewhere in the worlds below, and potentially within the territory of the Darakul. I do not know, but I am going off their theories. Unless they are completely baseless, I think it is potential to it. As for the other one, I don't know. The world is a big place. The road would have been a big guess that I had, but gathering from what you've just informed us, there was one in the boat, and that was handed on to you.
I was wondering maybe, again, I could be wrong, and I have much less faith in this one than I do with potentially with the Eye of Ruin. Again, Jen is having a hard time with names because she's very sleepy. The city of like magic with like, is that war thing?
Mantarathir or Casellia?
I don't know. One of those two.
There's the civil war that's now spawned a new country of mages, Mantarathir, or there's the capital of all ascended gods.
Right.
Casellia.
Which one is the one that did the mountain lifting or whatever?
That is
Mantarathir.
Mantarathir.
Yeah.
Maybe one could potentially be at with Mantarathir. I mean, they were able to pull off some magic that no one thought was possible.
Honestly, respect for that, but
That is
I could do
a
it.
decent point.
Sorry. That any mortal could do.
Of course.
Perfect.
Anyone not as grand as yourself. But
So you're starting to get it.
that is actually a decent point. As we've known from our own encounters.
I can
it
look
does-
into that. I do not have
Hmm.
many followers in Mantarathir, but there is a fair few newly landed tieflings who are quite happy that Cassellia's hard on for divinity is no longer in their land.
Now, Xerxes, I am curious on this note about shards and everything. Do you have any followers, people learning secrets within the ranks of the Hummingcloaks?
I have had not avid followers, but there is
Right.
people who go looking for secrets, often just wish me luck kind of thing.
Right.
Also
Just
makes
because I
sense
know
for-
that. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna say it also makes sense for people with knowledge that they're not allowed to tell anyone to tell you.
As he kind of
Considering-
pats this like leather
Hmm.
tome on his side, a very, very well sought after arcane grimoire.
Wait, the arcade grimoire or different arcade?
His arcane grimoire,
mhm.
Oh,
which is a divine artifact in its own right.
But considering their whole objective, I suppose, in understanding and discovering strange areas of magic where the weave is different or unusual, it would at least indicate some potential areas. I had wanted to hopefully gain more information, but the bridge that we had with Kelsier was burnt.
what do you mean?
I'm
Unfortunately.
aware.
Helsier said he would come.
Right, but I know to aid with Zelly, but in terms of a personal connection to us that endears him towards us.
What do you think would happen when we're all living in the same building together for months on end?
I don't think he's suddenly going to come round to us unless Rainier starts to apologize.
I think he'll see us more as individuals the more he gets to know us.
Potentially.
Seems to me like the biggest solution, perhaps for this trouble I can give you. We just kill Rain. I just.
Perhaps a
As
step too far.
hard-headed as she can be, she's been through a lot and she's very helpful. We can't all help the people that we grow into. And recently she did have literally all of humanity's like emotion shoved into her head. So we'll see. Maybe she'll grow from it.
Maybe.
Fair
But
point.
for now, it is increasingly, and I say this with as much humility as I can, quite probably a medium issue for me to try and get into the Emperor of Ghouls. He does not really burn secrets for me. He is
No.
at least the same age as I am, so there's not that
That's-
elder respect.
Is another question for me, Xerxes. You said that you were from the other side of the world.
Yes, I look good for my age. It's all in the night cream.
Indeed you do.
Answers your question.
When did you get here?
When did I get here?
How?
That's a funner question.
That was my end.
Because unless you came over with the dying god,
One would assume that's where I came with, yes.
I suppose it's fair that the god of secrets has many secrets of his own that he does not wish to reveal.
You know what? Along with my lasagna recipe. It's not a secret. You know of the War of the Gods. On the other, it is very common knowledge.
Yes, it's a word
I
that gets
have
thrown
a-
around a lot.
Unique, capable ability to observe the divine, and I saw it coming. So I got... What does the more say? I got the fuck out of Dodge.
Understandable.
And I
Yeah.
came over here, where I thought perhaps my chances fare better.
And, I mean, looking around, I think they have.
Well, you know, divinity and all that.
Mixed bag, I suppose.
It's just constant. You know, some days it's fine, but then the other days the book just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows.
On the plus side, you get to look like that for eternity, which...
Oh, this was before the divinity.
Although I bet it makes holidays kind of weird.
Yeah, it's it is
Gods
what
all
it
get
is.
together for like a weird holiday thing.
No, but the tavern does sometimes get rowdy. So yeah, it is what it is.
It's true.
If I could impart one bit of wisdom in arcane study, first thing you need to figure out is immortality. It's the easiest thing. After that, you have nothing but time. So
That is a fair point. That is a fair point.
but I could sit here, drink all morning. You have places to be and people to see.
We do.
Indeed.
So,
There is the
How
small bit
did-
of teleportation.
well, Canis India can get you there. And here, as stand up and spread your wings. As you see, he stands up as Somalia's there, full wingspan. Xerxes gets up and walks behind her and just gently brushes her hair away. And you see, as on his his index finger about hands and the nail just gets slightly a bit longer, and he just starts very carefully. Not like you'd think it's like tattoo or something, but these runes and like spiral symbols all start going over the back of Zamani's wings until it's shoulder blades to end of full wingspan. It's a one-time thing, but give them a hard flap and a gate will appear in the sky. And really, if you've done any sort of skillful flying, you know, you just go through the rings. You'll be where you need to go.
Sounds good.
Right. Now, how we approach this Zamani with Tranum, once we get into speaking with them. Did you want to lead with your plan first, or should I go with the shard? Considering a lot of this will be your
I would
plan.
I would like to lead with my plan. Because I think if
Right.
we just walk up to him and go, hey, I don't trust you, you don't trust me, we both want peace, give me a shard, I don't think it's going to go well.
Ease him into it with
Give him
Right.
hope. Give him something to hope for. People are willing to do a lot more if they think things might go well.
right.
It's the most
Right,
dangerous
that's-
thing. Thank you for everything, Xerxes.
You're
Thank
more
you.
than welcome. You enjoy the... I'm not going to say it's going to be a good time, but have fun in random. I'm sure. You know what?
Oh.
If you get thrown in prison when you land, just
All right.
you've got the wings.
Until next time, Xerxes.
I will look into Mantarith here for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He kicks back into his chair and knocks his feet up on the table and just raises his mimosa as you guys start walking away.
You have a nice little wave.
Yeah.
You make your way out, leaving through the door the creaky ship. Or do you teleport before you leave? B. Can teleportation circle go cross-planar? I believe it can, so you could actually do it from in here.
Let me have a look, actually. Let me double check for you, Des. Teleportation circle.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah. On the same plane of existence.
Yeah, so you will need to get out of this demi-plane.
Yeah. All right. So yeah.
So as you step out, there's this weird like jolt as you step onto like a moving ship and the water takes your legs.
Oh god,
Also,
it
we
was
would
so much
need
nicer
to-
in there.
We would need to eat anyways because Merc is gonna give us a nice little boop boop.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you immediately begin casting. Do you have materials to cast teleportation circle?
Yes, because I had one on me before because I was going to cast it anyway. So no, I
And
definitely
you got more from what's his face, Lackey Man.
Hey, look. Ruben
Okay,
Deer.
I'm sorry. What's his face,
Ruben
Simp
Deer.
Man?
Ruben
Is that
Deer.
better?
Yeah, there we go.
Reuventir, I assume you mean.
I
Correct.
think. I don't know.
Yeah, Ruben Deer. But yeah, so I'd mark myself down components and
You cast teleportation circle. You go to Ojakir, never to be seen again. Campaign done. You just dip from the Kingfishers.
Great. Wonderful.
Finally out.
we've escaped.
But you cast your circle. Heading to, I would just preface this, Aura's teleportation circle.
Of
Yep.
course.
As the magic comes through, you get ready to teleport, and all of a sudden you feel the shift in temperature change, the smell of the sea air not quite as present, as almost immediately as the kind of the sight comes through to you, there's like this flare on the ground of all, what you would assume is like looks like fire as a cage forms around you all.
Right, there it is.
To be expected.
It is to be expected.
There's you hear very like loudly, not trying to even dissuade from you, like alarms from the spell similar going off. They
Right.
carry down the hall. A couple seconds later, a familiar face, if only but for briefly, you see Grandier Moral, Archon of the land, walk through. Oh, for
Hello.
fuck.
I'm sorry.
You know you're not meant to be here.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Right.
Because
Correct.
our party member went off on her own and she did something very, very stupid. Yes. And Aura is very upset with us. And she is has every right to be very upset with us.
Right. I wished to come here as well on a more official diplomatic note, as opposed to being part of that group of individuals that was associated with Anna, but to also offer something along the lines of a diplomatic apology for what occurred in the Voka. Because whilst Anna did take those actions, they have no bearing upon myself or my people. And this is still a route that I wish to have open.
As he reaches the wall, you see what's very familiar looking Sapperstone shackles as he throws them through the cage as the fire passes. It's not up
Yes.
for me to decide.
No, that's
Give
all
you a
right.
plea
I'm
to
used
the king.
these.
We understand.
Somebody's like, what, no fur?
Like, I didn't even get a kiss first. God damn.
I like to think in the first episode of Kingslayers, when they're in the jail cell, we all had Sapperstone shackles, but Zamaya just said fur.
You mean when like one of the first things she ever said to Cal was Cal, shut up, you're rich.
I forgot about that.
God, what character? So, as you shackle
Yeah.
yourself, you feel innately your magical abilities being pulled from you, drawn into the shackles. As he gives a very quick pass of his fingers. As he then kind of knocks 3 times on his chest, and you see this plate armor just form around him, and he has this massive halberd all of a sudden with this lunar design. He pointed at you.
Very
That's
nice.
mine.
Just so you know, I, Grandian Morrow, Archon of the Land, Knight of Quintessence, will kill you if you try anything stupid.
Understood.
As he has his ceremonial armor from his grandmother and halberd accompaniment.
Was that pointed at us in general, or was it pointed at Cal specifically?
That was
I just
pointed
need to know.
at the group. It was at the two of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, this is Velfira's old armor and her old halberd, passed to her from Zanvin the Lunarian,
Mhm.
now an heirloom to the family. As you
Very
get brought
cool.
through this beautiful, twisting hallways into this large, open throne room, where you see King Rindle sitting on a throne. Luckily for you, you don't see Aura.
Thank God.
As King Rolf looks over you all and she goes,
I was just like, hi.
as
Hmm.
Grandier brings you to before the king, and then almost very frustratingly, you get hit in the back of the knees, so you're down on your knees before the king.
I would have just crouched down. I'm sorry.
That's a little frustration, sorry.
It's okay. I understand. A lot happened.
You feel like against the back of both of your necks, the handle of this halberd is now just like resting. As King Rolf kind of
Ooh, danger
sits up in
makes
his chair, and he pauses for a second and he goes, well, were you not banished from my country?
Yes,
We
we were.
were, by the orders of your court mage, Aura.
By one of the members of the Lord's Council of Ten.
Right.
I don't know where in Randrum that holds.
Right.
So please tell me you have a good reason for me not to have you beheaded right now.
Right.
Because I'd rather not ruin my floors.
Of course. I wish to come here under a more official diplomatic position that I hold to offer an official apology to you, my king, and to the kingdom of Rantrim for the actions taken by my companion, our companion, and to also please implore you that the actions that she took, Anna, that she has no position within my people or with any official capacity within my own court whatsoever. The actions she took should not reflect upon the prospective relationship that I wish to build between your kingdom and my own. And, however, to apologize for what did happen, considering my own proximity to the individual.
Then his eyes rest on Zamani. And your excuse?
Oh, I'm trying to stop an invasion.
And to also help me through this.
Yeah, as you would expect Trannan to look a little bit more smug, seeing you all ready to be decapitated, and he looks quite concerned. And he kind of looks over and, well, my king, perhaps we hear them out. They came in here of their own volition, so if must be, I will kill them. But as King Randers goes,
Yes.
you may stand up.
Yeah.
Thank you, my king.
A diplomatic apology
Yes.
for your friend's actions.
Yes.
I am aware of your station. Trannan has made it perfectly clear. And from the report from my court mage, there is no proof that either of you actually did anything to help the now deceased offender in this task.
If you need a zone of truth or anything like that we can do to further support that kind of a claim, I'd be happy to submit to it.
As would I.
And I don't submit very often, but I guess that's a different tab.
Sure. He's like teetering on like, do these people get killed? He calls over to a hooded individual, looks to possibly be like not any divine nature to them, but just they pull out this small little lyre, and after a couple seconds you just see glyphs on the ground appear as a zone of truth. And I assume you both choose to fail?
Yes.
Yep.
I do not want to be beheaded.
Same.
As King Rindle goes, was it within your means to stop your ally?
No.
No.
I'm assuming that is in terms of if we had the knowledge.
Correct.
In
If
which
I had
case,
the
no.
knowledge, yes.
Precisely.
I could have sniped her from 300 feet away.
I could have imprisoned her.
Did you have ill will towards Randrim when you first came here?
God, no.
I swear it upon the dying god himself, I did not. I came here, and the intentions that I stated upon my first arrival to you were honest and true.
Zone, it's enough. Take their shackles off. As Grandier comes over with a key and unbinds them.
I give him a wink.
He kind of.
I'm married.
He does. I'm spoken for, and I'm uncomfortable.
Thank you,
So,
Mikey.
an invasion.
Yes.
Elaborate.
That is more to do. Very sorry. We actually, well, as far as that's concerned, I wanted to speak with Trinan for that because as difficult as it's going to be, I want to create at least a temporary alliance between the Stellaris and Pallid Elves in order to stop the Derakul. Because the Saint of Undeath is teamed up with them, and they are moving to the surface, and they are invading different areas. They've already taken over, or attempted to take over, at least 2 different cities.
We see us
One
trying
is
to take like a sip from his wine. He like coughs on it and literally spurts him back into the glass. An alliance between Pallid and Starless.
Yes.
And you thought that... I'm sorry, my liege, maybe they are stupid.
I implore you, Trennan, if we can discuss this, it'll be worth your time.
Perhaps, as he's talking, the king went to raise his hand. Does this invasion have anything to do with Randrim or my territories?
It could, yes.
The Darakul, potentially.
You see, Samael's goal is to create disruption. Because if there is disruption, if there's chaos, if we turn against each other, then it's very easy for him to slip in and take control. He's already done it in several places, and he's in the process of doing it in several more right now. We have reason to believe that he has something to do with the war in Mentor there as well. Mm-hmm. He attempted to cause disruption in Burton?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. I didn't say Brighton. Let's go!
It's on the map. Yeah. It's there.
He literally used several people he put under the sleeping bloodline to kill the king. could do it here.
We are trying to make sure it does not happen.
And right now, he has a entire army of undead Derrickle at his beck and call by their alliance. So, we trying to stop it.
We've dealt with the ghouls. We've fought them before. A few times. The Palados have been more than capable, as well as our own military is now training for it. We've seen no proof of Samael's involvement in any of it. What proof do you have?
Time out real
If
quick.
you want,
Okay.
I need a refresher. I know we know that the two of them are actually working together.
Yes, you do know this for a fact.
yes.
I don't remember, it's been so long, how we came across that information. I could look through my notes. It'll take me a minute.
So I believe your specific knowledge is in Vrendenwell. You saw the innards of the patients used to denote Samael's insignia on the temple walls to reconsecrate it in his name.
And also Sir Teethan as well told us.
Yes.
He told us as well that they've been investigating links between the alliance between Samael and Derrickle.
Yes.
I do not have any physical proof except for my memories that I have, which I could easily share with you if there's that you have the magics to do such. But while we were fighting Derrickle, there was a priest who had been turned without anybody's knowledge, and they were using the innards of people under the Derrickle fever to desecrate the land in favor of Samael.
And if you wish to hear other opinions, you may speak to Sir Teethan, the head of the Temple of Soul, Knights of the Temple of Soul, who is aware.
Sir Teethan. He passed through not too long ago.
Yes.
Yes. He would tell you the same. If you trust his word.
Teethan is a honest and noble man. I do. I will need to get someone to corroborate Teethan's story. Alas, I do not think you're here to speak to me. From what you said, you're here to speak to Trannan. And as much as I thought that I am the most important and approachable person in the room at any time, I realize that this is probably, at least for now, not a matter that is needed to discuss with me. I have a busy day of court ahead of me, and probably a very angry court wizard to discuss with.
Understand?
I'm very sorry.
You are to not leave the castle. You're not considered free roam. If I see you within the streets of Rindleton, you'll be going straight to Gallowcross. And you'll spend many days in the Zuvrik mines working for us to put off your sentence. So, do not consider yourselves free within this country yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
But I give you way to speak to my counsel. As he steps up from his chair, he goes, Trannan, you may take them to an adjourning room. This doesn't need to be public. A public affair for everyone to gawk and stare at. Don't you all have better things to do? As he walks away and everyone's like, oh, fuck, better go do stuff. Because everyone kind of stopped to stare at this.
Yeah, the spectacle emerging from them. Yeah.
As everyone starts making their way off and trying to just like gives a like a long belated like throws back the wine, puts the glass down and just gestures. Leading off into one of the side rooms.
Following.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll start this conversation by saying, while I do not wish for war between Pallid and Starless, I think this is a fool's folly coming here for this purpose. You risked your lives to beseech something of me that I think is fairly improbable to happen. It's foolish.
Right.
Unless I'm vaguely missing a lot of things, in which case please fill me in, but none of our prophets have predicted an alliance, so already you're off to a hard start. Let me speak.
Well, but I don't know much about prophecy or how it works, to be completely honest with you. But doesn't it generally follow the lines of what is happening? Generally, in the realm of things that you would be looking for, correct? Would you be looking for a random tiefling girl who has known nothing of really either Starless or Pallid Elves to approach you with a possible idea for a truce?
You are correct that they may not have been looking for it. But they can't also control what they look for at all the times. We have many prophets. It's what makes our kingdom quite strong. Even I, as the President Knight, do get visions, and most, as I believe we discussed, visions do point to conflict between Starless and Pallid.
So if I'm trying to promote something that is not conflict between Starless and Pallid, it makes sense that you wouldn't see anything. Or it means that it might work, so there wouldn't be conflict.
As you and I both know, when receiving visions of the future, Trennan, there are many different pathways that lead to many different possibilities.
You're not wrong.
It is never certain.
You're not.
And trust me when I say that when Zamani first presented this plan to me, before I listened to all of the details in it, my reaction was similar. But following through on that, I do believe that it is a very concise and well thought out idea, at least to start with. And then, of course, there's a lot of uncertainties, but I think it's worthwhile to listen, at least to what she will tell you.
Thank you.
Listen, I sit on the Lord's Council of 10 in Randrum. I pretty frequently, but I can't make you any promises. And already off the bat, this seems ridiculous.
If you could make me a promise, you wouldn't be the person I need to talk to because you would be lying to me.
Say your piece.
So the Derrickle are a problem for the Pallid Elves, correct?
I wouldn't call them a problem, but they're an inconvenience.
An inconvenience. Them growing and continuing to become, player issue. Sorry.
No, take your time.
As a nuisance, as they are now, but by being in leagues with the literal Sant of Undeath, who has a much stronger understanding and presence on the surface and is able to organize them, they could become much more than just a nuisance for you and your allies. I'm not trying to say, hey, I want you to forget an entire society's history of hardships with the Starless. I know that that's a fool's errand and a horrible thing to ask. I'm simply asking for really a two-sided front. I'm not asking you to fight side by side. I'm asking you to see each other's potential armies and decide not to attack them. We know where the Derrickle headquarters is. The stronghold.
Of the Emperor himself.
Yes.
You know the Emperor's location.
Yes.
How did you come across this information?
My group was, some of us are still in the process of being a slave to the sleeping bloodline that Samael has thrust upon us. Something happened that was not intended to when we went into the castle in Burton to kill the king, and it broke slightly. So we have control of ourselves. There's another person who was working with Samael, whose daughter was taken. She is currently his sole anchor in the mortal realm.
What's a soul anchor?
A soul anchor is a person who can be tied to divinity in order to keep them on the material plane instead of the realm of the divine.
It's how Samael remains here, as opposed to being sent to Ibosa.
Because the ascended gods cannot wander the world freely as they want to.
That answers a question anyway. Not one that was pressing on my mind, but at least it's knowledge now. But
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
continue.
The man who was allied with Samael, his name is Jornvir. He was the head wizard in Burton.
I'm familiar with him.
He came to us asking for help to save his daughter. Because Samael, from our whole group except for me, took hostages. Those hostages, as well as Jornvir's daughters, are all together.
Why doesn't he have a hostage for you?
Because I didn't have anyone I loved.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Life is hard.
Admittedly.
At the time, Jornvir has been there. He's been taken there several times, and he has the ability to teleport there. But he doesn't know how to tell somebody to go there. So we are currently in the process of trying to get him to teleport there very quickly and back, then track his location, and then once we do that, we can have a general area that hopefully maybe the Starless and or the Paladelves could then scout out.
The world below is a labyrinth. And you saw what happened when you teleported here. There was a cage of fire surrounding you.
Yes, but he has gone several times before, and he knows the area and he knows what to do. His original plan was to teleport himself and all of us there, grab them, and get out. I think that's a fool's errand, right? He's a man who in every other aspect has always thought with his mind and not his heart, but when it comes to his daughter, he has the faults of a father.
I can understand that. And you all thought that... Keep going.
I originally came up with the idea of asking the Starless for help because one of those hostages is the oldest princess?
Youngest princess.
The youngest princess of the Starless Elves.
His eyes just rest on Calicidere and he just about to wow.
So it would be much easier to convince them to basically go to war with the Derrickle as long as we give them the location. But I want them to be more than a distraction. If we could actually land a heavy blow on the Derrickle, it would not only heavily weaken them, but it would also weaken Samael and push back whatever plans that he has to cause further disruption. And possibly a lot worse for humanity.
And precisely. Samael's plans involve everywhere.
Don't doubt you, but I see a few flaws innately. And I will point these out because these are the exact same questions I'll be asked if I'm not saying I will, but if I was to bring this up to the Council of Mount Ondai.
Yes.
Well, below is a maze, just because you know the location on a map roughly where the Emperor of Ghoul's hold is, that would take perhaps months of scouting deep within Ghoul territory to find. That's an issue if we don't know the route. Secondly, you've made a great reason as to why the Starless should be involved. I've yet to hear an argument as why the Pallid should get involved.
Because the Derrickle will come from Mount Ondai.
Mount Ondai has stood.
It has. But that does not mean it will stand forever.
Especially not with Samael's influence.
Your prophecy said that you would fall if you entered into the 300-year war, correct? But it hasn't said anything about not entering into other wars, about the fallout from them. And trust me, if I may bring up my own separate things of mine, if you don't mind.
If you want to. Actually, can I do it? It's going to be meaner if it comes out of your face. And then I just turn and I look at
I...
Donan.
Mina. All right.
Is that okay? Thank you. Samael has placed a shard of the Dying God in Mount Ondai, and they have told the Starless. The Starless are going to attack Mount Ondai. They're readying for war.
This is awful. This is in the best regard. Thank you for telling me, but this is stupid to tell me. You're telling me to ready my people for war when
No. I'm
No, but if
asking-
I wasn't to agree, I'm sorry, this is...
No, I understand that.
So, it feels like a no-win situation right now, what you're presenting with me. I have to convince my people my council to work with the Starless to attack a place we don't know where we're going to get invaded. For a shard of the Dying God, which is within Mount Ondai?
You were already going to be invaded. Samael has placed a shard of the Dying God inside of Mount Ondai. He has his informants inside of the Starless, which is kind of upsetting, and I look over at Cal. Have spread word
Probably
that
not so much from that, but rather planting the seeds where he knows that Starless informants would easily be able to pick them.
Same thing. Anyways, so the Starless now know that there's a shard at Mount Ondai. They think that you know. They think that the Pallid Elves know and have had this, intentionally keeping it from the Starless.
What Samael wants, and what the Darakul want, is for both of us to enter into a war in which both of us lose, and for them to clean up whoever's left.
I thought it would be better. Instead, if we do actually have a plan in order to extract the shard of the Dying God, if such the thing is allowed.
That's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other thing, about. Yes. But I thought, knowing that this was going to happen, that it would be better instead to try to turn it on them. And considering that war is inevitable, why not make it against an enemy instead of somebody who could be a potential ally?
And trust me, Tram, I do not mean to propose that we should suddenly put aside centuries of enmity and war and struggle against one another, but merely view the bigger picture in this moment and put it aside, but just for a fraction of history. So at the very least, we may continue into the future, but Paladin Starlit Elves, as opposed to witness, you and I, we at the forefront of our very own destructions.
And I know it was foolish to tell you.
You have a lot of trust in this plan. You say a lot of trust in me. Which I will be honest, I don't quite get why you're trusting me with all of this. But
because you want peace. And you have the potential to reach the people who can make that decision.
I wished
how far we have strayed from when we were unified.
Indeed.
I'm not saying that this plan will fix that. But could you imagine how it would look in the history books? How it could be the start of a potential.
Tranum, let me put it this way. I have no, as you would expect, I have no great love. I won't even pretend to have a great love for Mount Ondai or Pallid Elves or anything of that sort, but I do not want war. I do not want to see the destruction of our people. I am doing what I'm doing for peace and for security and for long-term prosperity. I do not want war. And I know, and I saw enough from you, that I didn't know that you do not want that as well. And I know that there are people, both from my own and yours, that would more than likely see the war as opportunity. But I think we can both agree that that would be a terrible move.
And also the plan right now is that if you guys did go to war, the Darakul would be used to wipe what is left of you guys' civilization after the wars.
Precisely. Which is the fact that, from what we have gathered, essentially, Samael has promised, at least, the Emperor rules the world below if he takes the world above. Including in that is the mountains, the hills, everything that is below the surface of the world, including everywhere inside Mount Ondi. They will be his territories, and the world above will be Samael's.
This is a lot to take in.
It is. I hope that we have made the right decision in judging your character, Trevor.
You put a lot of faith in someone you knew for a day.
But I think you can see from what we've told you and judging the gravity of the situation why we would.
I also hope the fact that we have chosen to trust you also shows how serious we are about this plan and trying to do everything we can to make it work.
It speaks a lot.
No.
Oh, there's more.
No, Cicero. Ask any more questions, as I'm sure you have plenty.
A lot.
Please.
I can assume from information we know of your all's time in Burton, a very similar thing is how a shot ended up in Mount Ondi, Sleeping Bloodline.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
We actually know
aware
the
of
individual.
Yes. You're of an incident where a certain madness gripped an individual within Mount Ondi.
I'm familiar.
That was it.
That was it.
And suspiciously close to the vaults. Okay.
So the shards in the vaults. Okay.
That's not. I suppose
If
it's
it
too
makes
much
you
to just
feel-
ask that the Starlets could have asked for it back.
Well, they've been informed that you have, not you specifically, but that your people
I get
have
it.
intentionally had it.
Mm-hmm.
That's an issue.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie to you here. We have no love for the dying god. We have no love for the power that is granted. We've moved well beyond that. However, I do think a lot of our arcanists would be keen to study it.
It is likely that they wouldn't be able to because of the god blight.
There's always ways, and with arcanists, I'm not saying me or advocating for them, but they'll
There is.
always try.
But understandable,
Of course.
which is part of the reason why I was happy that you weren't an arcanist.
Or someone.
I am capable of minor magic.
Well, yes,
course.
but you understand the mental difference
And-
between the people who like to tinker and fiddle and weave magic.
And someone with enough clarity to understand the full picture of the situation.
1 second, guys.
Yeah, good. Brief interlude. Stream.
Somebody's really.
So, as Shannon digests. I don't really like the position you're putting me in for this.
I'm sorry.
It's not. I'd like to say it's not your fault, but it entirely
It
is.
is entirely my fault.
No.
I am at the center of this plan. I understand.
As for retrieving the shard, I would not be entering there myself. That is not something you have to worry about. Bringing the Starless Prince into Mount Ondi, that is a hurdle you would not have to cross.
That was going to be my next question. Unfortunately, my innate initial thoughts, and I say this with a lot of disdain, as the leader of the Prescient Knights, I can have unrestricted access to the vaults. And I see no other way but to steal this shard. As of right now, I don't want to go mad.
We actually have. Quick timeout. Xerxes said that he would help us. Did he give us any details about how he would help us?
Not a single fucking one.
Okay.
Which is
I
very
should have asked
Xerxes.
about that. That
It's
was kind
very
of said
Xerxes.
on Monday, and I wasn't sure. Okay,
Yeah,
my bad.
but he said to mention him in terms of when this comes up, mention that he's
Okay, to
involved.
mention him specifically. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember if we were supposed to be vague or not.
He did write it though, Des. He
Yeah.
said to mention him.
Correct.
Yeah.
I you're not going to give a shit about this probably, but I'm a believer in Xerxes. A worshiper of Xerxes, I guess it would be the better way, because of course everybody. Anyways,
I am aware of the divine thief. Yes.
he's offered his
Good time.
assistance.
So I've not only
Which
to get into
tells you-
league with the Starless, I have to get into league with the Ascended.
No, just Xerxes.
Oh,
Well, I suppose
To
if
be
it's just
fair-
Xerxes.
it is just Xerxes. The others are much more stuffy. He's wonderful to
He-
have breakfast mimosas with.
What?
He
I don't
understands.
think that's relevant.
Look, I think it should tell you a greater deal if a Stars is willing to make an alliance with an Ascended
But if you,
deity and willing to work alongside them.
if I were to walk up to anyone and I said, Starless and Ascendant and a Paladelf walk into Mount Ondi, it is the start of the worst joke I've ever heard.
The most unlikely combination of individuals. Both of
I
us
see that you left out the
dislike-
tiefling part.
Well, I assume you weren't walking into
Well, we
Mount
can add
Ondi.
that onto the joke.
Well,
A
neither is
tiefling, a
Cal.
Paladelf, a Starless, and an Ascended go into Mount Ondi.
Look, it's far more likely I would to partner with Tieflings then. Ascended
That is fair.
or
Quite
Tieflings
the
and Mount Ondi
unlikely.
is irrelevant.
Quite the unlikely partnership. But
I'm gonna- just give
What
me a
is it?
minute.
Oh, sure.
of course,
If you have any more questions, please feel free to shoot them
I
off.
have a plethora.
Go ahead.
of course.
How many shards do you have?
Just one. I know the
Hey,
location of several more.
1,000 bits, thine words please their
Ooh.
ears. Serotonin has arisen into mine body from thine words. Thank you.
I love serotonin.
Bread existing. Look, we love
Shout out to
Sarah's toenails.
serotonin. Yeah.
Where are you like this? No, apologize to Bread for that.
I'm sorry, Brad. That's a cursed thing.
Yeah, we do love serotonin.
Thank you so much for the bits. Welcome to our little mini session. We're doing a lot of politics right now, and not a lot of
Mhm.
dice rolling, but we're doing a lot of politics.
Yeah,
This is a
I
little mini
assume
session
there's
for our
going to be a
campaign.
persuasion roll at some point.
at some stage.
I hope you're enjoying
Or
it.
if we
We're a little bit of a low key, just chill stream today. Just doing a little bit like we normally have 6 people at this table, but this is a big thing that was just for 2 characters, so we're hitting it out in a mini session. Welcome to have you. Thank you so much for the bits. It'll fund my caffeine addiction. Thank you.
Or
Which
else,
will help me fund these nerds'
Um,
caffeine addictions. But thank you so much for that follow. We're gonna get back to it.
What were we saying? There was something.
He was processing. Said he had
How many
questions.
shards do you have?
Oh, one, but I do know the location of others.
Yes. You know the definite location of 2 more and the approximate potential locations of 2 more as well. And on top of that.
And I know from your people, cousin, that you intend to bring back the dying god into the. It's blasphemy for me to say the name for you, but the not dying god state.
Of course.
That poses issues in its own right for our people. Like, if you were to look at that, the dying god coming back, and I say this as like not a man of faith at all, but I can address my people really said, all right, I'm going to head out when the dying god fell.
Would you like me to make it more complicated but potentially help in the long run?
God, no. But yes.
No? Okay.
No, go. Just
Okay.
say it.
Well, all of the Ascended are suddenly having visions of a threat from the other side of the world. The barrier between the 2 continents is fading. And that threat is known as the Dragon King, and he is looking to come back. But the gods aren't working together. And so Xerxes wants to try to help put the dying god back together again as another force to fight against him. We don't know when
does
this will happen.
When does this make this easier for me? This just makes things complicated.
It
Because
does make
it
things
means
complicated,
that he's not just coming back as a big fuck you to your people. It means that he's coming back as a much needed force to stop a much greater evil from coming.
And allow me to say this, and I do not give away such information lightly, but I have a far closer relationship to the Dying Gods than the Inquisition holds. A far more personal
You see, he
one.
almost instinctively goes to spit on the ground when you say Inquisition. He kind of just stops and looks back at you.
I have a far more personal relationship. And I know that some of his actions contradict their own tenets. And I do
Neither
not
of us
believe...
know what he was like, truly, when they were themselves originally. My main concern is...
I do know more, though, than someone who has simply read our codes.
I have a concern, though, because... I suppose you can probably understand my concern. The Dying God coming back, it could mean one of three things, in my mind. The death of the Paladels. A old god hell-bent on destroying us for abandoning them when we sought to go out on our own. Easy one to jump to, correct? Situation number 2. The subjugation of the Paladels, almost like taken as we know with a lot of magics, blood is the innate easiest material to use. So, again, another, like, sort of driving us to lengths that aren't great. A third, and this is possibly the craziest idea my mind goes through, is you and I aren't things anymore. Neither Pallid nor Starless. Perhaps there's this great unity, and Star Elves return. Because that's why you and I no longer have stars in our eyes, cousins, is the Dying God passed. And I'm very, very aware that would cause a lot of... God, how would you put this? A lot of confusion if the Pallid and the Starless Elves stars were to return. Then basically the only thing that's keeping us separated is a dick-waving contest between us.
Which is the case for most other people.
But you understand why there is that concern of mine that
I do.
This was
there is the potential that he doesn't return the stars to either of you.
That's option 4 then, but... Sorry, I don't like to be frazzled, and I'm frazzled.
No.
Which, if that did happen, that would frazzle me beyond belief, and I think...
Well, you already have 2.
Yeah, and he's not going to get any more, right?
If he kind of looks... It's like a...
If I can help it. Which... I will try.
This is a lot to process. I appreciate you trusting me this much. And you... From the short time we've known each other, the few days, you do measure my character correctly. I do want peace. I do not want a war between Star or Starless and Paladels, as... I don't know if you felt it at the same time I did, cousin, but I had a vision of me putting you down.
I saw that. I saw you killing me.
Apologize, I know it's a vision, but still.
It still felt real, as they always do.
They always do.
But we both know what is coming if the current course of actions are not reversed.
You wish to
both
reassemble the...
Right.
May I say it?
I grant
The
you
guiding
permission.
light to its truest form.
Now, is that public knowledge within Mount Onder?
Only those on the council.
No.
As the leader of the President Knights, I do have a say in the affairs. It is lost history.
Yes.
But if one's avid enough in the textbooks...
I think that's the first time I would have actually heard the guiding light in terms of that actual name.
I think you've said something.
No, I think you said it to just Zamani. You said it in a private
okay.
conversation just between you and Zamani. I know Mercastiel, Rainier, and Anna and Svein do not know the name.
them.
Yeah, you've told me before. I knew.
You did tell Zamani.
It did? Okay. I couldn't remember if I did or didn't.
No, it was
Okay.
one of these private conversations that definitely
Yeah.
happened. How aren't you? No, I've met you. You're kind of insane. How aren't you completely gone? If you have a shard.
I suppose the only way to describe it, you may call me, I don't know, call me what you will, but I have a connection to the Dying God. I made a pact with him,
Wait, they
I
can make
am-
connections still? This is...
correct? Well,
He's-
I sought out the magic in order to do so, and
He is
forged
a
a pact.
warlock of the Dying God.
See, that's interesting. We've heard in our reports of the Starless many times that it's not really... We didn't know it was really possible. We know from before there was one person who swore an oath. And even in your own culture, you know that is extremely rare.
Of course.
So I'm learning a lot today.
There was
Um,
only one, considering we are being honest with one another, and I think this goes a great length to show you my willingness to cooperate with you, at least, Trennan. There has been only one other person in our entire history to make a similar pact, which was my uncle. And I am now the second. In terms of normal bonds, it is not exactly easy to make, but I did find the arcane rituals required in order to set up and facilitate such a pact, which has gone through. Which is why I am able to endure everything so far.
There goes
It
my
is-
offer of saying I would hold the shard until it came to reunifying them all. I thought it was like, you know, like an oil or a lotion or a potion.
And I say this, Trennan, that I cannot make any binding oaths here. I do not think we have the means, but I think you seem to know a great deal about my people. And you would
But
know
your
that for
enemy.
someone, of course, and you would know that if someone wants to hold more than one shard, but multiple shards, they would command a great deal of influence and power, especially if they were the son to the queen.
I won't lie, you having that power does scare me. Because that's
But
also the
I
power
can-
to sway a war heavily.
Don't worry, he's not allowed to use it.
You're not allowed to use it?
No, he's not allowed to use it.
He's not allowed to use it.
He's not allowed to use it.
Why aren't you
I'm
allowed to use it? Why
exercise-
isn't he allowed to use it?
I am exercising restraint. Using the shards is very draining.
You see Zamani just cross her arms at you and raise an ugly.
And I also promised her not to use them too much because of the danger involved.
He then looks back at you. So
But-
me possibly siphoning power, so we would be on even playing fields. So there's a mutually assured destruction, which is not an option, is it?
Not quite. You would probably go insane if you tried to use it.
God bless Israel.
What I wanted to lead into, though, is that using that influence and that power, not even the power of the shard itself, but being the one that holds them, I promise you, with whatever it is worth trying, that I will not use that power to seek out conflict with Mount Ondi. That is
Oddly
not
enough, I believe
any
you.
of my intentions.
I'm
And
going to
if
say
anything-
at this moment, we're going to have the first persuasion check of this encounter.
From me?
The kind of, I'll say
Or Zamani?
both of you make one because it'll be both because you both presented different like points of argument. You both have advantage from Mercastile because this is.
Thank you,
I'd say this is towards the end of the first hour, so I'll say after this it won't be advantage anymore.
I dropped my dice, but here we go.
And I will roll
Ooh.
against it.
That's really freaking good.
Right? I rolled really good too. I'm so glad for the advantage.
I rolled really
Yeah,
poorly.
same. I rolled an
Yeah.
11, then I rolled a 19. So
I
it's
rolled a 1
27.
and then I rolled a 19.
So against you both, I rolled a 4 against Calicinder to see if he would if you set the DC basically, and
29.
yeah,
27.
3 against you. So he looks at you, but he goes, "Okay." There's merit to this. In regards to the shard, I had planned to go to Mount Ondive this coming week. I hadn't planned on stealing anything from the ancestral vaults. But you know, plans change.
Technically, you wouldn't be stealing things. You would just be enabling the stealing of something. There's possible deniability there.
I'll lose my head for this.
We didn't.
I hope not.
We were a hair's breadth away from losing our own heads to come here to tell you
Yes.
this. You spoke for us.
This ascended god of yours, Xerxes. I suppose if there ever was a thief.
What a better thief than that? To steal artifacts.
I would like, and I know this might be difficult to say or do or even think of as I'm drawing a blank. Is there any way we could get some form of, I say we, the royal we, me, something, an assurance, something of yours, something you hold dear, someone you hold dear. It doesn't have to be in Mount Ondive. We could put them here in Randrum.
I do. I don't know how much it would mean to you, but Zamani goes and she unclasps a necklace from around her neck, and she holds it out. She puts it puts the string into her hand, and she goes, "This is a pendant." No, sorry.
So sorry, you were saying?
Okay. So she takes the chain with the heart-shaped pendant and she places it into her hand. She goes, "This is a pendant made for me by, oh my god, my brain. The
Your
king
father?
of no, the king
yes.
of
Zathasa, Morvis Kindrel.
Thank you. This was made by Morvis Kindrel, the king of Zathasa, and given to me personally. Is a magical amulet of protection, and it holds my father's ashes, who I thought to have died when I was a child. This is an irreplaceable heirloom. No, it is not technically probably great in the grand scheme of things, but this is the most important thing that I own."
Not really what I had in mind, but it's all I can get.
Would you
Better than
require
nothing.
something from myself as well?
I would. You can understand how shaky this is
Right.
on my side.
Would an item suffice for now?
It has to.
Right. There's Callus India would take off his holy symbol to the dying god. He would keep the one with the guiding light on, but he would take off his holy symbol to the dying god. The one that's been with him from the very start, since when he first made the pact itself and presented the trend.
Takes it.
Yes,
He takes
yeah.
them both. He places them on the counter and takes out a bit of cloth and very carefully folds them up, puts them in his lapel. It'll have to do. Thank you for trusting me with this. How can I contact your ascended god?
Oh, just write a little note on a piece of paper and burn it.
Okay, but like, how
You know
actually
what-
can I contact him?
Yeah.
No,
Do you normally?
I'm being genuine. Here. I assume there's like candles on the table or something like that. Zamai takes out her notebook and she writes out a short message and it's like, "We're talking to Trina now. He's agreeing to things. He wants to know how to contact you. I told him to burn a piece, to write it down on a piece of paper and burn it. He doesn't believe me. I take it and I burn it away."
So you burn
That
it
easy.
away. He kind of looks at it confused for a second. And as he's about to speak, all the runes on your wings just flash for a second and a voice echoes across. It is that simple.
There you go.
What the unsettling. I will try to get this shot.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's object 1 on the table, done.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to
I
talk
assume-
war.
I assume at some
Correct.
point as well, your people, if you have initial talk that goes well, you might need to or want to speak with us. Cassandra does have access to Dream. It's how we were planning on speaking with the leaders of the Starless.
You sleep?
It allows me to have a unorthodox but a deeper connection to the Dying God, but the guiding light, considering everything's on the table here. But yes, it allows me to have a deeper connection.
And you get to talk over
And
long
perceive.
distances as much as you want to.
Precisely. I've used it to contact my mother before, telling her to sleep, and then... So, it is an option.
One second, guys.
You're
As
okay.
Shane just says, excuse me, I just have to think of this. Just talk.
Somebody just leans over and goes, "Is sleeping really that weird for you guys? I mean, what's
It's
your
very-
version?"
We just don't need it. Like,
Well, I
I mean, closing your eyes, falling asleep, it's strange. We just...
And I don't need to put sugar in my coffee, but I do.
I mean, look, that is valid. I can't really drink that stuff without a lot of sugar in it. It's far too bitter. Anyway, it's strange for us. I mean, we don't sleep. It's different. It's entering sort of a meditative state of mind for a
Why don't you
short period
sleep?
of time, and then there we are. No
How did you
dreams or
come
anything.
to determine that you don't need to sleep?
I mean, from birth, really. It's something that's we just do. Strange, I know, very odd. I didn't think it was weird till I came here and I saw everyone talking about sleeping, and then
Okay, as Charlie comes back into the room. Well, sorry, I needed a bit of fresh air. Sleep. Okay, yeah. How would you contact me to tell me that I have to sleep?
well,
You would kind of need to contact us to know if things went well and they want to speak with us.
precisely, I have a means of contacting you, but I guess I could attempt to message you at various points and see how you're faring.
You just like a daily check-in.
No, perhaps not daily. I'm sure Tran doesn't want to hear my voice every day.
I never
I'm
thought
sorry,
I'd have a starless pen pal.
Neither, I did not think the other way around, but here we are.
Okay. I can't say for sure we will help you in this fight against the ghouls. That is something that I can't promise, as it's a conversation that has to have amongst the Council of Mount Ondai. However,
Yes.
if you can stop a war if I return this shard, if that's all, that's still headway.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
I will be able to. I have spoken to my mother about it. Well, not everything, but I have her word, and that matters a lot to me, especially in a private conversation, that at least if I am able to retrieve the shard through peaceful means, there will not be a conflict.
Can't guarantee I'll be able to do it, but I will try. It will be a challenge.
Also, if we manage to then convince the Starless, and you manage to convince the Pallid, would there also need to be like a dream with everybody to organize things?
We're past dream at that stage. There
Okay.
would have to be a summit on neutral ground between the leaders.
My brain is just like, Ariel, keep.
Yeah, hosts in technically.
Would it cancel the?
Keep
At least if that is anything, I do hold as leader of the President Knights, along with one or two others. War councils are between us, so we would be present.
Is there anything else we can tell you about Samaya and all of that side of things?
Anything that would be helpful to you.
Mhm.
Honestly, I'm not sure. This is a lot to take in. I'm still trying to process it all.
Right.
So, please, if you think of things, if you have the means to contact me, do.
On that, Calcinder will open his book to the pages with all the names on there and just sort of turn around to Shannon. If you write your name on this line here, I am able to send messages to you normally, and no restrictions upon length or anything like that. But I will be able to effectively converse with you.
He takes a quill and he starts writing his name as he's writing his.
I never thought I would have a Paladin of Silence book. But here we are.
It's an interesting one.
Thank you. I know that I've asked a lot of you today. It means a lot, though.
There you go. Shannon is a Varilin.
Ooh, it's a barrel. I got a full name. That's cool.
Fancy.
Do you have a hard date in mind for when this has to happen? Do you have a day to launch an attack on the Emperor of Ghoul's hold? Do you have a time frame?
Yes, we do. It is the 21st or okay, it's the 21st of next month.
Oh!
However,
Yep.
that if this plan looks like it is promising, we may very well be able to delay that.
Yes.
And I think we will. If we are able to approach our ally, Jarnvir, with this information of everything that has proceeded, and it looks like it will happen, he will push back. That was the date he gave us of when, ready or not, he will enter to reclaim his daughter and save her.
But if he believes that he'd have a much better chance of being able to save her with this plan, then he may be willing to wait.
Correct.
Because everything
next
does.
month, I don't think is possible, and that is just
Too soon.
what were they? I think we're the in game. We're like the 25th of this month or something.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So, I think we can delay.
Let me just. I'm gonna pull up my calendar for actual days.
My brain went burr. I know that we talked about it out of character, but I can't remember right now. Did we have a solid way of being able to go like, this is Dornvir's location after teleportation? Because I know I found. No. Because the plan was that like Dornvir teleports into the stronghold. We use some kind of magic to locate him on this plane, this like precise thing, and then he pops back. Was the plan?
I think that's your all's plan. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because because he doesn't know where it is.
Yeah, he knows how to get
But
in.
like, yeah.
So that's the only way we'd be able to find the location, is that if he goes in real quick.
If you also remember
Jordan
last
presents us
week,
with something?
not last week, literally 2 days ago, when you asked Xerxes, does he know where it is? He said yes.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's true.
true.
I forgot about that. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. I forgot
So-
about that too.
On the 27th, I plan on heading to Mount Hondi, and I imagine I'll be back by the 2nd. It's 19 days to organize even.
If we can get proof that it looks like this whole partnership is going to occur, we'll be able to delay it.
Yes.
Jarnvir is an intelligent man. He will be able to see the value in a plan like this.
So things are a little bit out of order because my original plan was as soon as we get back onto the boat from host that we tell Joanvir and then we have this conversation, but we weren't able to do that because of the order of operations of like last session versus next session.
Well, you'll still be telling Jornvir, like, this is all within like 2 hours. So
okay,
either way, like, you'll get back to Jornvir same day as you're doing this.
Okay.
So that's not too much of an issue, but again, you know Jornvir is not going to give you an answer then and there. So,
yeah, well, I don't want him to. I just want to give him enough headway.
I can't guarantee the 21st, but if we could delay it, if everything goes to plan, I will finish discussing with the council in Mount Ondai by the 2nd. I'll be there, teleport to Mount Ondai, probably tomorrow or the 27th. 2 days to break into the ancestral vault's deepest bowels. 4 days to convince the council that we need to get a few 1,000-year-old feud to be put aside for a few weeks. It seems doable.
What day do you want us to message you?
So you message me on the... That's what I said. I hopefully will have the shard by the 29th. Message me on the 29th, see if that went well. If you don't get a response, I'm possibly in jail and lost my station and this whole plan's gone to shit. Or I'm just dead. That's also a possibility. Message me on the 2nd for the war talks. If that all goes well, I can get movement of my council members to have a summit. We could be in a neutral ground by the 9th. Another 7 days to get there, as long as it's somewhere where we can all teleport to. Randrum obviously is not neutral ground. I don't believe Burton is either, if you all have station there. I propose Ojikir.
Somewhere else. That was actually very close to what I was going to suggest. Ojikir is perfect.
Either that or... No, Ojikir seems best.
You could do
Ojikir
Sathasa.
is safe.
You just said you have lenience with the king as Sathasa, so that's not neutral ground.
Oh, but I didn't know if I counted or not.
You very much so count in this.
And Sathasa is a little too dangerous.
Fair.
Ojikir is safe and will respect such a meeting. And will no doubt see its own use as a place to facilitate it and so on and so forth.
So we'll just have to find a place in Ojikir.
Precisely. Now,
The library would work. The Great Library of Ojikir.
that would work. I was going to ask you, Tamani, when did you first want to... I don't know if you want to bring it up to my mother or for me to bring it up to my mother, because there's a lot of other things that will probably be asked at that stage as well. But when...
Oh, sure, I can present my plan to your mom. We could do that tonight if you wanted.
Tonight?
I don't care. I just went over the plan once. I could do it again.
Fuck. Listen, did you just have a moment like that?
How do I notice that moment?
Just a slight, like... Okay. Alright.
I must go prepare. If you want to tell your mother to go have a nap, you can always talk to her about this now.
Thank you.
If so, would it be possible to borrow a bed?
Sure, I can arrange that. And in a symbol of unity, he pulls out his longsword, sheath and all, puts it down on the table. You have something of mine. I have something of yours.
Oh, shit.
This is your plan. You can hold on to it.
Thank you.
Please don't lose it or break it.
Promise to do my best. I put it in the bag of holding, so it's not heavy.
That is Tranen's ancestral Vorpal longsword.
Yes.
Nobody else will know I have it. Because I'm still putting it in my inventory, even though it's in the bag, because I don't want them to look at it.
If Trenan does die, does lose a head, we'll still have a Vorpal longsword. So I mean,
Look, it's a
some ability there.
+3 attack and damage on a nat 20 and just beheads things.
Yeah.
Yes,
We've got a
but
Vorpal weapon.
if he does, Zamani doesn't get her dad's ashes back.
That's true, and I do not get my holy symbol back, which would hurt Cal. Not as much as the ashes, but would still hurt him deeply. Tran, best of luck to you.
Sorry to give you a headache so early in the morning.
It's alright. Rooms will be made available. I will go process this. And hopefully, have you a shard of Great Old God in 5 to 7 business days. Sure, that's my week now.
That is where we're at.
Thank you.
Cousin?
If you need it,
The money?
Cousin.
if you need anything,
Until the
let us
stars
know.
return, Tran.
They fucking
Don't
return.
push itself.
They,
May it
Look.
bring unity with it.
who knows? This time next year, you and I may be very well star elves. Sainted under the name of the Guiding Light for bringing unity between. It's not going to happen. Let's be honest. As
Houses
he walks
right
away.
next to one another.
He's
Have a
just
good
walking. So, as you assess, you take a
That
deep
went-
sigh. That went much better than you probably could have hoped for.
That went well.
Right?
That went well. How are you feeling, Samani?
Oh, I'm doing great.
God.
I'm a little upset, nervous that I don't have my dad's ashes, but if it
Yeah.
means not having everybody die and potentially bringing together two whole societies that have been kind of upset with each other for the last several hundred years, then
Put
I
it
can live
lightly.
with it.
That went better than I expected. I think part of me was expecting Trenan to start attacking us whilst we were together, and turned
Oh,
out
I didn't
completely.
expect that. No, I
I know,
expected
but-
him to potentially decide that we were full of shit, and then there was out. But I did expect that.
Well, I expected he might try and get rid of me as a threat.
Thank
But
you
I'm
for
glad he
trusting me.
didn't. Of course.
Well, I mean, I did kind of tell him a lot of secrets about your people, so
You did. But I trusted that you had a reason for it and that you would use it to our advantage. I know you wouldn't simply betray my trust and everything for no reason, Samani.
No, of course
Right.
not.
But
Now, what was that look for? I'm much more interested in that.
what look?
Oh, the slight look of panic that flashed across your face when I said we could talk to your mom.
Oh.
Why? What's wrong?
Mothers always know. And when I say that my mom is observant, she is very observant.
Okay. And?
Well, I'm not entirely prepared for the conversation with her yet about you.
You
Um,
haven't told her about me at all?
No, I've told her about you, but not about our entire promise that we made.
Oh, well, that just happened like yesterday, so that's...
Precisely, and I had not considered telling her so soon about it, and I am a little...
Zamani once again crosses her arms and sits back. You didn't lie to me, did you?
No, God, no. Why would I lie?
Because you said it wouldn't be a problem and it wouldn't ruin your life. But you're nervous.
No, I am nervous. You're right, but not because of that, but because I'm telling. Because you're meeting her for the first time, and that is a big deal.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, to me, it is at least.
Oh, okay.
As you said, I assume you're walking and talking. I
Yeah.
offer this to both of you. I said 2.5 hours for today's little stream. Do you want to do
Mhm.
this now?
I'm fine until like normal, like end of like D&D time.
I am not, because I have work and I need to eat. But
Yeah.
we can
Yeah,
give her
that's
another
fine.
40-ish minutes, 40, a little over.
Yeah,
I'm
I
good.
mean, I'm fine doing this now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as
Well,
you have this conversation, Callison, you sit there getting ready to. You message your mother to tell her to go have a nap if she can.
Mhm.
She says, replies, "This better be important, or I will expect that 1,000 electrum back. This is ridiculous. Fine, I will go to sleep." Because there's no message, so it's just like a limitless parade of like, you need to stop telling me what to do. Fine, I'll do it. I love you, but please give me more forewarning in future because I'm a busy person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you warn her about Zamani?
Yes. I will say I'm bringing Zamani with me, who I've mentioned to you before.
I can't remember. Have you mentioned that Zamani is the Baroness of Sathasa?
No,
No, because I haven't really spoken to her since then.
just the
Okay.
devil
Hasn't
stuff,
spoken.
which made her very concerned and think that I was riffraff.
So, as this happens, Calicinda, you watch as Zamani, arms folded, is like, go on, draw the circle. Draw the dream circle. Do it. We're speaking to your mom.
Alright. No, you know how to be best behaved. I know you don't. I've seen you. Actually, no, this is fine. This will be.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
You've heard of that
Focus
spell
on
called
the
Kiss of the
spell.
Succubus, right? I can use that whenever I want to. And you'd never know it was coming.
Right. Focus on the spell. Casting the spell. Dream. I've done it before. Let's go.
I've never
Cal's
seen
getting
this
performance
nervous.
anxiety.
Yeah.
So, Cal, what way do you make this look? How do you what
Oh, Jesus.
sort of dream do you manifest for your mother?
What dream will I manifest for this whole conversation,
Do you
which
ask?
is involving a marriage? You know what? Yeah, Zamani, where do you think I should make this dream? What do you think would come across the best?
Have you shown
You
her
must.
this? Have you shown her the surface at all?
I have.
Do you remember that field outside of the castle that was filled with flowers last time we were there? Set up a table.
All right.
Make
That's
it
a good
daytime.
idea.
Because
Of course.
you've probably shown her the scars. You probably haven't
Oh,
showed her the sky.
Absolutely.
Show her the sky.
That's a good idea. Thank you, Zamani. And Kelsey will cast dream.
As the dream manifests, a beautiful field of flowers, a nice ornate table set in the middle. You're not sure how the fuck this works, but your mother's already sitting at the table by the time the dream manifests,
It just
legs
happens.
crossed, as she stands up as you enter.
May I introduce to you Baroness Zamani, Nero of Sathasa?
Amani gives her fanciest curtsy. Like, not a performative silly curtsy, but like actually like, wait, this looks professional. Like, where did she learn this? She didn't learn this in the brothel. What happened? Kind
Yeah.
of like thing.
You see,
Yeah.
as you curtsy, a beautiful woman, tall, maybe like close to 7 foot, in heels, long flowing silver gown, her hair braided back, a beautiful crown of embellished electrum. Lady Zamani, it's a pleasure to meet you. My son has told me many things about you.
I hope that they're all good.
Nothing but. Cynthia, come here. Let your mother see you.
Oops.
She kind of looks at you. Goes, well, she looks around. She
I
goes,
have been eating. Before you say it, I have been eating.
You haven't lost any weight at the very least. 2 things before we get into, and I'm sorry, Lady Zamani, you must bear the full brunt of a mother's fuss right now.
Oh, you're fine.
Abyssinia. Alcalzia.
Oh, full name.
Prince of the Starless.
Oh, title
What
too.
happened to your hand?
You didn't tell her about your hand?
I have not dreamt since.
And why do you
initially.
have 2 stars in your eyes?
Right? No,
Okay, let's address these one at
Zamani
a
moves from
time.
standing like by your side to
No.
standing by her side and crosses her arms.
No, okay. First things first. After I slew Urizilik and retrieved the shard from him, I entered into the temple complex, part of Inisheam, where I met with the guardian of the place, this being the sacrifice asked of me in service to the dying god, along with certain knowledge, such as the name of the dying god, or rather the title formerly bestowed upon him prior to the shattering.
Knowledge only the Queen is meant to have.
Now you're sharing it, I suppose.
Okay. So do you just go cutting your hands off willy-nilly at any altar?
No, Mother, you must understand, this was done in service of...
Oh, Mother, you must understand. I am your queen, and this is not a mother-son conversation.
It will be returned to me in time, once I have followed on my path to the dying god. There are some trials that I must face first, and which
I'm
I
not
will.
happy about it.
I didn't think.
And I'm also not happy your father went to see you.
That was
when
him,
did
not
you
me.
two
I had
concoct
no
that plan?
I had no plan of it. He said that. I had no idea. He was standing there. He turned around. I was surprised. He had that look on his face when he's pulled a prank on or done something completely unpredictable. That it's the same look he has when he took me out that one time into the city when you said that we weren't supposed to, and we went out.
Took you where?
Never mind. That was in the past. That was at least a few hundred. That was at least over 100 years ago now. It's fine.
I really didn't know about that, to be fair.
I had.
You are your father's son, through and through. If you
thank you
ever come to me with more missing appendages, you'll have to worry about more than finding the shards and losing your mind.
Understood.
Oh, speaking of losing your mind, that's also where the stars are coming from. It's okay. I keep yelling at him about this one too, so I would really appreciate your backing.
Using
your backing.
the power of the shard creates these stars,
which are dangerous, considering that your loving uncle had billions of them.
Precisely, which means there's a long way for me to go before I end up liking.
No! Don't just brush past that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like her. Oh, she's good.
You have the shot. That's good news. This is good stuff. If it's going to fracture your mind more than it must already be for you to cut off your own hand, I highly suggest you don't use its abilities. You're not there to be throwing around the power of the guiding light willy-nilly. Your prophecy that you put yourself on accordingly is to reunite all the shards. And where in that prophecy does it say use all the shards? Do you collect bottles of wine to just drink them all at once?
That would be a waste.
No.
Don't be like new royalty. You don't need to use it all at once.
Right. Mother, I promise you that I will not use it unless in the direst of circumstances. Or in the most pressing of situations that I find myself in.
You're only to use a shard if the alternative is death.
Is that a command from the Queen?
This is a command from a queen, but a threat from your mother.
Right.
I would say hit you on the back of the hand, but I don't know which one to go for anymore in front of your friends.
Well, I've made it easier, I suppose. There's only one to choose from.
She just smack.
Zamani is thoroughly enjoying this.
Now, sit down and explain what the fuck that is as she points at the sun.
That was my idea.
That is the sun.
Oh, I've read about it.
Yeah, it's.
She starts squinting and she looks directly at it.
It's bad for your eyes to look at.
I just
even in a dream.
I'm both just looking at it directly.
Potentially, we still have to squint, so I don't know.
I don't know if I need to squint.
It's very
It's not
bright.
illusion.
Slightly too bright. I wish you could just turn it down a little bit.
What the clouds are for?
This is your dream realm.
Well,
That's-
I know that it's...
So why am I here?
That's my fault.
Oh, it's your fault. Sorry,
It is.
my name is Queen Zilzor Zana Thalkazir. It is a pleasure to meet you, Lady Baroness of Sathasa. She gives like a very like shallow bow. Definitely not to denote her station too much.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. You can just call me Zamani. Make it easy.
Didn't tell me she was royalty.
More recent. I apologize.
Sit. As she's like telling you to sit in your own dream spell.
Zamani, take the seat.
Might have started.
So, where do you want to start with this, Cal? I'll let you start. Unless you're just lost and I can start.
You can start.
Okay. So, have you told her about like the whole sleeping bloodline and all that other fun crap?
Yes. She knows that that's what possessed us to do what we did.
Okay. So, in addition to that, there was another person who's technically not under the sleeping bloodline, but his daughter was taken to be a soul anchor for Samael. That man has reached out to us to help him steal his daughter back, and in so doing, also all of our group's hostages, including the princess.
But your sister is.
But this man, who normally thinks very well and thinks things through with his brain, is having the father syndrome and is thinking with his heart. His plan was to just teleport into the stronghold of the Emperor of Ghouls and then save them and then poof out. I think that's a horrible plan. And I think that that's going to get him, the hostages, and us killed. So I came up with a better one. Hopefully. I'm proposing a temporary alliance between the Starless and the Paladels.
I beg your pardon.
I know. I completely understand. And I don't say this to make light of either of your society's histories. But I think it's a good plan. You are currently preparing for war to go against the Paladelves, as it
You
is.
told her about the war.
I did. There is no one else that I trust more, on the surface at least, than Zamani.
Paladelves do not know what they have, and they do not have it intentionally. Samael took a group like ours and used them to plant the shard in Mount Ondai. We have spoken to the surviving members of the group. We know them. We know the person who orchestrated it. All of this is fact at this point. The entire war between the Pallid Elves and Starless Elves is being orchestrated by Samael in order to break down both of you to the point of weakness so that the Darakul can overtake and decimate both of your peoples. Samael's goal is to give the world below to the Darakul while he rules the world above. And he's doing these kinds of things of disrupting places of power, both above and below, in order to accomplish this. Cal did also tell me that you had mentioned avoiding the war if he is able to safely procure the shard. That plan is in place. That plan is in place now, and we'll know by the second if it worked.
Mm-hmm.
This is roll
Currently,
persuasion.
Okay,
Cookies.
She's a tougher
Oh.
cookie to crack.
that's fine.
Not
30.
30.
30.
That is the DC,
Wow.
so.
Fuck yes. Okay. We're good
Zamani,
gamers.
you overstep your duties as a friend to Calacindia. And under any other circumstance, I would be furious. However, you seem to have a good head on your shoulders. You found a way to get the shard peacefully.
Yes.
My son and his friends heroes for stopping a war, as I don't wish to send soldiers to their death. If what you say is true, and I doubt a Paladelf will really work with this. Who is this Paladelf?
Name is
Commander
Trenin.
Trenin,
Enter last name here. He is the head of the Knights of Enter name here.
the present knights. Trenin
You mean
is valid.
Trannan, the Pale Executioner.
Correct.
You know how many of our scouts he has killed? He is some 600-year-old Paladin who's caused much hardship, and you're telling me he now sees peace?
He does.
Are we talking of the same Trannan?
We are. There is a difference between doing his duty and doing what he actually feels is right. Which, in this case, is avoiding conflict.
If this is all
There's-
true, we may have an Azaria of a Paladin, which would be honestly quite entertaining. However, I do see the innate flaw in this, that the Inquisition won't like it. Me pulling a war effort out. But
No,
if you have this shard, you say by the 2nd?
Yes.
Kind of I gave you a month or two, I believe. I said until spring.
Technically, it's the 29th, but by the 29th, we'll know if we have the shard, and then by the 2nd, we'll know if their talks went well and how willing they are to speak on the subject and moving forward.
Just because you want me to redirect soldiers I had to fight the Planet Elves to fight the Emperor of Ghouls.
I do, and I want them to do the same.
if we learn the
You're
location
either
of the,
crazy or a genius.
I'd like to think I'm the latter, but I'm not confident enough to really believe that. We know the location of the stronghold of the Emperor of Ghouls.
You do.
we can strike a decisive blow against the Darakul that they will not be able to recover from.
A surprise attack in a two-fronted to split their forces. Among two
Against-
societies who know very well how to deal with them. While also saving the princess and the other hostages at the same time. When they're
And
distracted.
saving her safely, without the same harm that could come to her otherwise.
Well. Nothing else. At least you're spending your time wisely on the surface and not associating yourself with Dullians. I do have an innate question that I must ask directly, as it is against sort of what we stand for. The money. Are you still in line with the regents of Osiris?
This is a question for me. Do I know enough about my ties to feel like I can answer truthfully?
Yeah.
Okay. For now I am, but I'm in the process of getting out.
Getting out, that is. You're only intelligent idea after intelligent idea. I don't know how you fell into them. But it is smart of you to seek respite away from them. Devils cannot be trusted. I must admit, when Calisander first told me he was travelling alongside someone who worked with the regents of Osiris, I was concerned.
Understandably so. I'm not going to hide anything. That would be foolish.
I would certainly hope not. If Cindy was bringing friends to try and lie to his mother, I would not be so impressed.
That would be foolish of me.
Yes, in fact, I may just
Besides,
have
I could never.
to order you back to Ishon Alexander if you were to be so foolish.
Besides, you've seen my attempts at trying to lie to you, and you always see through it. It's hopeless.
You can't dodge everything.
He certainly tries, though.
I do, and I'm quite proficient at it.
He has the tell.
Oh, could you please tell me?
What is my tongue?
I cannot tell you. If I reveal it, he will try and hide it.
That's fair. I'm getting
Perhaps someday,
better
if
at
we are
reading.
better acquainted and in better company, without my son present.
I would love that.
I
You
imagine.
must visit Ishon Alexander. It is much more beautiful than all this open space.
I
Sorry.
do miss it.
This location was my idea. I assumed that he had probably shown you the night sky, but I didn't know if he had
Seen
actually
it, it
shown you what the
is
surface was
beautiful.
like.
Calasindia. Lady Zamani. I cannot call off a war unless you have that shard. And as for a discussion with the Paladelves, no sitting queen has ever tried to talk to them. We would need a summit of some sort on neutral ground.
We have one planned.
I'd like you a step ahead.
It's in the Great Library in Ojikir.
Okay. I'm sure your father would only love another excuse to go up to the surface.
He would.
It was lovely to
Let's
meet
be
him.
honest here.
And Rathan is a eager fellow.
Hmm.
But he is a great husband and an even better father.
I can tell by the way Cal talks about both of you that you've both been amazing parents.
Well, try as you will, your child will still go off and make pacts with great old beings to try and bring them back to life, and it's just something you have to accept as a mother, apparently.
Look, the other four didn't do anything quite as outrageous. I had
Not
to make up
yet.
something.
Not yet.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
Besides-
crossed.
Oh, I can't tell that.
Can't tell what.
A story for another time.
You want
We were
both your
children,
hands
don't
by
worry.
the end of this conversation, or even one of them.
You're smart enough to know not to mention things. You let that slip on purpose. Or you're much more nervous than I thought you were.
Maybe both.
Oh, so
He's
you're trying
lying.
to tease?
I can tell
Maybe
right now.
both.
I can
Oh,
tell
I
right
see.
now. He is.
Oh, was it that thing with his idea little twitch right in the corner?
No, you're wrong.
Stop analyzing me, please.
Tell me
Why?
what.
It makes you
what-
flustered.
I have many more things I need to discuss with you, but I'm not leaving this be. By order of your queen, you will tell me what your siblings have done.
Oh, God. There may have been an incident where perhaps one of them got into your... Do you remember that time you thought it was a servant that stole some of your personal collection of wine, the vintages that you've been keeping? For a few
not
hundred
the
years.
Vintage.
Cindy, are you saying that was you lot? All of you?
Some of us, maybe.
You know people lost their jobs over that, don't you?
We were scared.
You should be scared. You will be scared. I'll have to check the logs. I do not know their names, but you have an apology to give to a very, very unfortunate server who got quite the tongue lashing.
In my defense, I'm the youngest. I was pressured into it. I was easily influenced.
I can't imagine you easily influenced by much.
You should have seen him chasing around after his sister when he was young. He wanted to follow her everywhere. Wanted to study just like her, wanted to see everything just like her. So, I swear to God, one day I was going to find him in her shoes.
I can't imagine what it would have been like to have siblings.
You're an only child.
Yes.
It's fortunate. Family is strong value for us. Speaking of which, Calacindia, this is the perfect moment for me to catch you because I did need to speak to you recently, as soon as possible, about a few potential candidates for marriage.
If I need to roll for poker face, just let me know.
Please do.
Yeah.
Performance.
Can we both make one? Because
No, you can't. Your mother has, like, give you advantage on plus 20 insight. You literally said a mother always knows. What'd you get? Not 20?
Nat 20.
Another one.
For a total of?
What is it? Deception?
Performance.
Performance. Okay. Man, imagine if it was deception.
So my dice was balanced on the 20 there and flipped over to the 14.
25.
25. Okay, she actually looks at you and she cocks an eyebrow. She tells. She can tell. She has it better than a plus 10, plus 11. Her insight is amazing.
Because what I did as well was cock a small eyebrow at Cal.
Okay.
They're just both cocking eyebrows at me. I'm like,
Yes. Like, and next to like
Okay.
sit back like a It's like it could be like interest or it could be interest. Because Zamani is very interested to see how Cal plays this out. Just so that you
Before?
know what exactly she saw.
before you continue, Mother, there is something I must tell you. You're going to probably hate me for this. Yes, it was behind your back. Yes, I didn't speak to you first. But Zamani and I are betrothed.
Sorry, what?
I know I didn't speak to you about it, which maybe I should have. But it is what I felt was right.
I must
You
ask you,
know-
Nate. Speak your bit before I yell.
You know how rarely I think with my heart rather than my head. And this is one of those moments that I listened, I suppose, to both. I'm a little overwhelmed, as this is not something that I had quite prepared for yet.
So
But-
this is why you were nervous.
Yes.
Have anything else to say for yourself?
I don't know. Cal's just like shrinking a little bit back in his chair.
They both would have noticed Zamani look kind of angry when Cal said, like, I know you're gonna be mad because like of her like very like she has like almost like a phobic fear of ruining Cal's life. So she's like very much like, you promised me. What do you mean?
Her shoulders
think
kind of like
you've
relax a
seen-
little bit.
I think you've seen from this conversation that Zamani is talented. She's intelligent. She cares about me. About everything.
Cindy, I don't care how talented or intelligent she is. All I care about is, do you love this girl?
I do.
Lady Zamani? My next very fearful question that I must ask innately first is, please tell me you're not with child?
Oh, no. Oh, God, no.
A mother has to
Absolutely
ask.
No, I understand, but
No,
fuck no.
that didn't involve itself in this whole process whatsoever.
I must ask, Cassandra, is she your Salvara?
What's
Yes.
a Salvara?
It doesn't translate well to common. It's, I suppose, the closest thing you could describe it as is a soulmate, I guess. It doesn't translate perfectly. Someone you love beyond life. This complicates things a little. I had a very few perspective, very well sought after families. However, your happiness comes first, and if she makes you happy, I'm willing to allow this. I apologize for my son's lackluster approach to this. I hope he's more approachable with you. I have a few things to say, though. As your mother, but as your queen. If you're happy, I approve of this, first of all. I would have liked to know. I will not have a surface wedding.
Understood.
If you bring this shard back with Lady Zamani's plan, this has my blessing. I'd never think of a person more deserving of an Azaria status than someone who helps bring a shard to our people.
I'm very sorry for my ignorance. What's an Azari?
It
And
refers
below.
to the fan below. Those people who are not born starless, but who exhibit qualities and, I suppose, a place within our world.
Okay. Thank you.
Usually it is people who have found themselves lost in the world below and who we rescue and find themselves drawn to us and live amongst us.
Interesting.
Hope you know that within our culture, this is something that's for life.
Zamani turns in her chair. You promised.
What did he promise?
He promised me being involved with him wouldn't ruin his life.
It won't.
My God,
I'm
how
going
did
to be gone in like 60 years. You have hundreds. How could
Be a
you?
worthwhile 60 years.
So I think there's an important thing to note. It's not about the time you spend with a person, but the quality of the time. I see my husband maybe once every few years. I don't. It's not considered ruining. If there has been Starless who have married Azaria before. This is not her.
But I'm going to leave him alone for forever. How could I ever be okay with that?
Because you'll meet each other in the next lives or the world beyond. It's past life. As long as you're willing to wait.
Of course.
Then our time here on the mortal realm is limited for some more than others. But eternal life through means of worship or faith we very much so believe in.
This is not what I thought I was agreeing to. I don't regret it. I don't regret agreeing with it. I don't. My feelings for you are just as strong as they were just before, but I thought I was going to be your surface fling, and then you would be able to go on and do princely things when I died.
I will still be able to do princely things, but in full, honesty to both of you. The path that I am treading, with the dying gods, the guiding lights, everything, I do not know how much of a prince I will be. My role lies outside such courtly functions in the end. And as I progress forwards, I do not know if I will be fulfilling that role, the same way that my siblings will. I am destined for something else. And I suppose what sets it right in my heart in that aspect is that the guiding light told me, spoke to me as we were agreeing to this samadhi, and told me that it was the right thing. It will not ruin my chances of anything. It would make me a far better person than I could ever have been without you.
I hope that's true. I'm just a silly little tiefling that grew up on the streets.
You're far more than that, though. You're in this area, you're one of us.
And you will always have the backing of the stars. Wherever you may be, wherever we find ourselves.
As Zilzarzana stands up from her chair, she walks over and gives Zamani a hug, and she says, "Welcome to the family."
Zamani hugs her and she definitely starts crying a little bit.
She looks back at Cassandra and she just gives like a disapproving, like, "How do you handle it this way?" Like, I suppose I can't have this dream go on too long. I have a wedding to plan.
So what it's worth, well, that I did want to come to you in a bit of a better setting when I told you first, but with Zamani's plan, which she brought up, I knew this whole meeting would happen.
I see now that I rushed you, and I'm sorry for making fun of you for being so nervous to talk to your mom.
If nothing else, I can say Cinder doesn't normally act like this around many people other than his siblings, so it's nice to see him comfortable with someone. I have things to plan. I have war horns to stop. I have so much work to do. Thank you for this glimmer of good news. It is genuinely a pleasure to meet you. And listen, dear, if you bring news up to me like this again in the future, I will seriously think of revoking everything. Just everything. I don't know what that means, but just everything in my power to make your life hard.
Would it be
as
possible?
well as that, it is not within your rights to say you do not have duties. You have duties to your kingdom, to restore the guiding light. That doesn't mean I grant you leave to see yourself live a short life.
Oh, don't worry, I don't either.
You must bring this girl to Ishenhar, Alexandria. We must plan a wedding. I have a good look of you. Little short, but it's alright. We'll get some big heels.
I'm used to heels.
Definitely open back dress.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I must go. And I must think of these things. I want grandchildren, by the way.
Would it be okay if we contact you on the 29th to let you know how the shard goes and the 2nd to let you know how the Pallid Elf talk goes?
Yes, but not about grandchildren then yet. It's too soon. You can't be pregnant for the wedding.
Yes, ma'am.
Dismiss the stream, I'm done.
Mother, until the stars return, but thank you. Thank you so much.
It was lovely to meet you.
It's a pleasure. Yes. It ends. As you wake up.
Snap back.
It's a sigh of
Well,
relief. That's where we're going to end today. So we'll be back Monday for our regular game, as I'm going to leave these two nerds to process this. We'll see you soon.
see you guys.
Bye.